So I'm just going to kind of start talking about what we're making. We're going to do a chimichurri chicken, and today is kind of a busier day for our family. My boys have sports. So I'm going to use my crock pot to cook this in. There's another way you could also, instead of doing the crock pot, you could make this chimichurri with your chicken and then put it in a bowl and put it in your fridge and then bake it later. You could put it on a baking sheet at 400 degrees for about um, 25 to 40 minutes. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I gave you guys a shopping list. If you have it, great. If not, I'll walk you through. I have one Fresno chili, my garlic, my shallots, and then parsley and cilantro. And then we're going to use red wine vinegar. I only have dry oregano, but if you have fresh, that's even better. And then my olive oil, which is, I'm just using the Kirkland Italian olive oil, which is awesome. So the first thing we're going to do is if you have a bowl, get it. And then we're going to start chopping everything really finely. So we're going to chop about 3 garlic cloves. And the key with making a really good chimichurri is everything has to be hand chopped. You really can't throw this in a food processor. I've done that before and it just doesn't come out the same way. It's not as good. So if you want a really good chimichurri, gotta hand chop it all and like bite through the tears that will come through the shallots that they always make me cry. So I'm just gonna smash blade away from me, palm down on my garlic and smash that up and uh, peel off the papery part. It's so weird to like cook and talk by myself. I normally have so many people in this kitchen with me, but this is kind of peaceful and enjoyable. And I don't even know who's here. Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy. Um, okay, so we're just gonna take our garlic. I like to smush it all together and just start chopping. And sorry, you're only getting one angle of this because this was just me doing it and I'm not going to be moving around my phone. Um, so there you go. So we're just chopping. I like to keep everything really neat and tidy when I'm chopping. So I'll go back and forth and kind of keep it in this like almost square pattern. And then, once this is chopped, I'm going to add it to my bowl that I have set aside. So when making chimichurri, it's great to have all your ingredients out and ready and have your bowl prepped. My chicken is also out, but I'm not going to use that yet. So we're going to do all of our kind of dry ingredients first and add those to the bowl. And then we're going to add our wet ingredients. So my garlic is nice and chopped, you can see. So I'm just going to put that in my bowl. That's right behind the camera. And then with the Fresno chili, these are really spicy. So it depends on your family and what you like. So I'm probably going to do about half of mine. So, and I'm not going to do the seed side because the seeds is what keeps all the heat in it. So that side I'm going to set aside and then I'm going to finely chop this part. And just remember not to touch your face after you chop your Fresno chili because it will be spicy. One time, my husband and I were making a dish and we were using the pima peppers that are really, really hot. And he could not, he forgot like how hot his fingers would get. And so I had to like take out his contacts for him that evening because his fingers were stinging for quite a long time. I can like smell it now. Like, oops. So again, finely chopping that the same way I did my garlic. And then kind of always keeping it in this like little tight uniform area. And then the ones on the knife, I'm just going to slide down and then keep adding that together. And now that looks nice. I'll show you. Perfect. So going to stick that in my bowl as well. And then a shallot. I didn't have this on my original ingredient list, but shallots are so delicious. I think I'm going to use just, this was quite a large one, so I'm just going to use the larger half size. Another great thing to have near you when you're cooking and doing something with a lot of like veg produce is have a bowl near you so you can put all your scraps straight into the bowl. And then that way you don't have such a huge cleanup afterwards. So I normally always have a bowl next to me. I actually don't, but it's a good idea. Okay. And if you have any questions for those two of you that are in here, feel free. I'll try to like look down as I'm cooking. Um, Although I don't have my glasses on, which is probably a bad idea. Okay. So for our shallots, same as our garlic, same as our Fresno chilies, we're just finely chopping and getting that done. I love if you've been to my cooking classes here in Montecito. You know, I do a lot of herbs in my cooking. I love fresh seasonal food. I love herbs. I think they just change everything and elevate every dish. So my salads are always really heavy with them. Um, and this meal, obviously. Okay, so now this is where my eyes are like really stinging. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I've been told if you put a piece of bread in your mouth while you're chopping, the bread will absorb, but I've never done that, and I don't know if it's true. You can try it if you want. Okay, I'll get through this. Oh, goodness. So, and with your shallots, you really do want these finely chopped because you have to always imagine when you are making food like chimichurri or a sauce, you really want it to be, you want to like envision what it'd be like eating this. So, you really want it to be a really small and bite size. You don't want it big and chunky and thick. So, push through the stinging eyes of your shallots. I'm sure it's good for your sinuses. It's going to clean you out and just keep chopping. So again, like the Fresno, like the garlic, I am keeping everything really tight. I'm keeping the tip of my knife down and I'm holding the back of my knife like this. And it's just like an up down and I'm pushing it around like I'm going back and forth. But like the edge of my knife is pretty much staying in the same place. And this is really helpful when you're chopping a lot. And you're just going to go up and down. I feel like cutting can be really hard for some people. If it is, check your knives. If they haven't been sharpened in a while and you're local to Santa Barbara, I'll put a note on here of a really great knife sharpener that will come to your house. I think it's like $5 per knife, which is amazing. And if you don't live here, I'm sure your town has someone. I think like Home Depot sharpens knives and Williams Sonoma, but you have to leave them. And I can't afford to leave my knives because I use them all the time. Okay. I'm gonna step away. I'm blowing my nose because now my eyes are running. Okay, that is like the craziest. Okay. Okay, so here's my bowl. Here's everything finely chopped. So now we're going to start with our parsley and our cilantro. These have been rinsed and cleaned. I am just going to bunch them together. I cut my stems because they're so fine. They're not woody stems like rosemary, so you can really, or thyme. You can chop as much as you want, but I'll probably chop up until here where it becomes really stemmy and then finally chop all the leaves together. So I am just gonna be wild and roll this up together as tight as I can and then start at the very tip and just start chopping. And then like everything else, we're gonna finely chop it. And it smells so amazing and so much fresher than the shallots. Shallot like still stink in my eyes. Okay, so this end bit I'm gonna take away. We compost. I'm gonna put it in my compost bin. Put it with everything else. And then it's like everything else. We're just gonna keep it all kind of tight and together. And chill. So with this chimichurri chicken, what we're going to do is, like I said, I'm going to put mine in a Crockpot and have it cook all day because today is like a pretty sports heavy day. I have 4 boys. They all are going to be in different places. And so we won't be back home until past 5, and they get really hungry because they are growing boys. They're 10, 12, 14, and 16. And so honestly, like the first thing my kids are like, what's for dinner when they get home? So I want this chicken cooking in my crock pot the rest of the day. Again, if you don't need to cook it straight away, you can let it sit in your fridge for the rest of the day until this evening, and then bake it at 400 degrees for like 25 to 40 minutes, depending on like how much you're doing. I'm going to do 2 packs of chicken thighs, which I think it's like 2, 4, 6. So it's like 12 pieces, which is like 2 pieces per person in my family. And then the way I'm going to serve this evening is going to be with, I'm going to do some black beans and rice, and then like quesadillas with the chicken. Kids will really like that. Okay. So this looks pretty great. So now I'm just going to take it and stick it in my bowl. I'll bring my bowl up here. Okay. So now I have it here in my bowl, and maybe I'll get rid of this cutting board so you can see better. Okay. So my cutting board, and then I'm going to get my spoon. So I have my measuring cup here, and we're going to do 3/4 cup olive oil. And yeah, so 3/4 cup, just that. Pour it in. And then we're going to do a 1/2 cup of red wine vinegar, which is coming out very slowly. And so when we put our chicken in here, we're gonna reserve probably like 1/3 of the chimichurri to put on top of our chicken later, and then the rest of it will cook in with the chicken. Okay, and then we have our oregano. Um, sorry. Okay, just gonna put that in there. But I think, what did I put for oregano? Maybe like a tablespoon of oregano. Okay. And then I think, oh, we need salt. So tablespoon of salt. I just pinch it with my hands. And now we're just going to mix the whole thing together. So you guys can see it's like nice and wet and thick. It looks really good. So super simple, really fresh. Chimichurri is one of my favorite things to have on hand. I love to use it on our eggs for breakfast, or tri-tip. When we do tri-tip, it is so good. And then obviously chicken, it's really yummy as well. So the last thing we're gonna do is cover up my stuff. Okay. So now we just have our chicken thighs. So I am going to rinse my chicken and pat it dry. I will bring you over here with me. I literally have you sitting on peanut butter jar. Just so ridiculous. Okay, so just going to open our chicken and rinse it off. Get actually a plate. Okay, I'm just going to rinse it and put it on a plate right next to me. Some people don't rinse their chicken, and I don't know, it's like chicken can be slimy and weird, so I like to rinse it. Okay. And then I have one other pack. I like to buy the Mary's organic chicken. I just get it at Whole Foods. Um, yeah, I don't I feel like often hear people telling me that their chicken turns out really bad or dry, and I always tend to think that, like, chicken Like if you are making bad chicken, it probably has more to do with the chicken itself than you. I know some chickens can be a lot thicker and can turn out drier. When I bake chicken, like boneless, skinless chicken, it always has to like have a sauce or something with it to make it taste so much better. That's why I tend to do a lot of chicken, like whole chickens or chicken with skin and breast. It just turns out so much better. So, and so much juicier and so much more forgiving when you are roasting. I tend to stay away from chicken breasts because it does get drier. Um, I don't know. That's just what I do. But I love to roast a whole chicken because it lasts so long. And again, I have a really big family. So all the food, more the food, better. Okay. So we're back over here. So I have my Crockpot out, which for the busy mom or person, if you work and you're not home during the day, or you know you're going to have a big day, Crockpots are such a great tool to utilize. So I'm just going to stick my chicken in my Crockpot. I have the setting to low. Um, and then I'm just going to add maybe like half of the chimichurri on top of this. And also, full disclosure, I would normally pat these dry with paper towels, but we don't have any right now. I do, but they're in the other room and I didn't want to run and get them. So if you have paper towels, pat them dry. Okay. So my chicken is in there. I'm going to actually, I'm going to wash my hands again because it's gross. I'm going to wash my hands. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to wash my hands and then I'm going to take my chimichurri, which you guys can see. It's like so lovely and delicious. And we're just gonna pour it right on top of our chicken. Let me see if I can show you guys. So there's my chicken. Here's my chimichurri, and I'm just gonna put it right on top of this. And I will add a little bit more salt to this pan and then a little bit more olive oil. And I'm trying very hard not to touch the chicken with this because the chimichurri we're going to eat on top of the chicken later and we don't want to contaminate it. So, okay. I feel like maybe one little scoop. So that's good. So I'm going to now set this aside. This will go in the fridge in a smaller bowl and I'll pull it out later this evening when we cook our food together. And then I'm just going to add a little bit more olive oil over my chicken and then a little bit more salt and pepper. Or, yeah, we need to get some pepper out. So, salt. Okay, and then I have my pepper here. And then I'm just going to use my tablespoon because it's right here. And I'm just going to kind of like mix it around so everything seems pretty well coated. And that's it. That was like so simple and easy. And you can now walk away for the rest of the day, go for your walk, get whatever else done you need to get done today. And when you get back home, your house will smell wonderful. Your main part of your dinner will be ready. And then if you didn't want to do tacos, you could do like rice bowls with this and do some fresh veggies. So, like, another thought would be like make some brown or white rice and then cut up some radishes if you have, and then like drizzle your little chimichurri on it. You could do some roasted veggies. It's so versatile of what you could do now that you have the main part of your dinner done. Um, and that's it. So I am going to keep this on low for the rest of the day. And I am actually going to go on a walk because my dog needs one. And thanks for joining me for my very first live. If you have any questions, if there are meals you would like to do on here, I'm planning on doing this every Thursday at the same time. So I'm just trying to figure out how that will look, as some meals will take a lot longer and I don't want to keep you on your phone longer than you need. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining and looking forward to cooking with you again. Bye.